That was a big challenge for me, a big financial a leap, I would say, because once I settle all of the debts and once we just figure out how to just tackle all of those financial problems, I felt myself like unstoppable.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Action Takers Unscripted. All right, today we have a guest. His name is Igor. How you doing today, Igor?
Thank you for having me, Arsenio. Yeah, I'm doing really well, and I'm ready to share as much as I can.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you here. I'm gonna give you the audience members just a quick bio of who you are, where you're from, but I'll pass it back to you after I give you the audience a little snippet. So we got um, him as a managing partner, a founder and managing partner of Vista Fund, and is a former professional athlete who transitioned into a successful entrepreneur and real estate investment guru. I say guru, but real estate investment business individual. So he's got it by principles. He's got it by discipline. He has a relentless drive for excellence. And he has founded and managed thriving companies and businesses within Southern California. So without further ado, Igor, can you give the audience a better description of what I did, of who you are, where you're from, and what brought you here today?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So I don't know where to start, but it's a lot of stuff happened in the last 10, 20 years. But I think one of the biggest pivotal points, it's a professional career in the water polo. I was a professional water polo player for 10 years. And, that discipline, that perseverance, right? That relentless pursuit, I would say, to success and to achieving your goals, that was like absolutely pivotal in my life. And then that transitioned into my entrepreneurship. So I played in Russia for Russian national team and Dynamo Moscow, right? Water polo. And then moving to United States, we opened the business. And, because of my passion connected to a business ventures, right? That was not working for like 5 years. I was like having fun, right? Because I was doing what I love. So I was working with kids. And sure enough, people recognized that and they felt it. And then, money became kind of a bigger piece. I'm talking about I was not able to spend the amount of money we earn. Mm-hmm. And it led me to the point, okay, what the people are actually doing with money. Like there's got to be outlet for the best use of the tool, which is called money, right? And that, it started me thinking and talking to people and, reaching out to my mentors saying, okay, what do you guys actually do? Like, what do you do with that? Right. Because it was kind of new for me. Because the regular life, it's what you watch on TV, right? You spend it on cars, whatever, jewelry, right? Nightclubs and stuff. And I had it in my 20s, I would say. But then as I got into the family world, and I have 3 kids, and I have a beautiful wife, and we married for, last 10 years, like plus, and we've been together for about 17. So to be persistent, right? And then actually, I was doing multiple things, investing in stock market and doing some, later on crypto investments and stuff. And I was always looking back into and reflecting back to my portfolio and doing real estate as well. And I was like, what's actually working? Like 5 years after my first investment into all 3 of those things, I was like, oh, real estate is amazing because I've never been, on the loss side of that business, right? I was like, maybe it's not huge return, but I never lost my principal. And becoming more conservative with my investments, right? I was looking into real estate more and more, and I was buying single family, and then I was rehabbing, and I was buying, condos, right, and renting to people, and until the point it became like very, heavy on the management side. So you got to be a property manager, right? Or you need to hire a property management company. So, and at that same time, I was thinking through, okay, what is the big boys are doing with real estate? So do they own actually like a piece of houses, like a single house spread out all over, or are they doing something else? And then I start to reach out and they say, oh, you know what? We own apartment complexes. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's a great idea. And I started to learn and like embraced myself right into the apartment world. And I started to really listen for different, I would say mentorship groups, right? And videos, right? And YouTube. I mean, whatever I can get my brain on, right? I was researching right heavily on apartment complexes. And in 2019, I would say 2018, I was dreaming around like I want to buy apartment complex. I want to buy apartment complex. I was like chanting every day, right? And then even made the wish for my Christmas, right? I would say Christmas time, right? Christmas wish. And in 2020, I came across syndications, right? And then it's the first time I started to actually put my own money into syndications, and I really dig into the world of, okay, what's the private equity? What's the capital stack? What's the management piece of apartment complex? How you do that? What's the what's the good leverage? What's the debt looks like? And then all of those very interesting pieces. And going deeper into that world, I found it's very hard to find an apartment complex opportunity to invest in, because it took me back then. My system was working full time, right? And we're doing research and we built the spreadsheet of 500 different syndicators and partners. And then out of 500, I was always, like curious, like which one is going to be trustworthy, right? Which one is going to be most reliable person or company, and which one is going to be most profitable as well. So, which is, two most important things. Number one, you don't want to lose the money, right? Number two, so you want to make sure you put it with the right people.
Right.
So, and that led me to the point saying, okay, if I test it with my own money and I build all the confidence and all the experience, so why wouldn't I open the fund and then open that opportunity for people who is doing whatever they like, right? They passionate about, I don't know, helping people on medical space, or maybe being IT technology person, or whatever, the professional athlete. And they have no time at this point of life, right, to dedicate it to investments and research and all of those things, and spend the time on due diligence of the project. So I'm going to open the Vista Fund and really open the opportunity, and then give the opportunity to the people who is very intensively labor involved in their business, I would say, or profession, and then they're going to be passive investor into the probably one of the best opportunities in commercial real estate. So that's where I am right now. So since then, we got 17 different projects. We actually raising actively capital right now. It's almost done. So it's just a small piece left in Kansas City, Missouri. So, which is beautiful townhouse community. And, just learning every day and, doing things.
Yes.
That's where I'm right now.
Incredible story. Cause you're coming from Russia, and you had a professional, you are a professional athlete in water polo. That's correct? That's what I got from your story. So you went from water professional to now entrepreneur in real estate, and having your own private fund for potential investors. Are these accredited investors or non-accredited investors, or both?
Yeah, we're working with accredited investors for now. Maybe it's going to be opportunity down the road for non-accredited as well, but as of now, it's just accredited people.
Okay, understood. With the private fund that you have, can we go back just a little bit, just so I can give the audience a clear picture of what made you jump from professional athlete into the real estate? I understand you had your mentors. I think you said you had mentors that were in the real estate space and pretty much guided you through that process. Can you take us back and just share how you decided to go ahead and jump on? Because I think you said you was in real estate before, but you didn't lose anything. But I would like to give the audience just how you got into real estate.
Yeah. So I actually got into real estate back in my city, right in Moscow. And my mom owned the apartment not the complex, but one apartment, right, which is spare apartment. So we didn't use it. And then I decided, I don't know where I came across that, but I decided to rent it to the people. I said, listen, I have money. I'm going to rehab that place, right? And I'm going to rehab the other one, which is you're going to move to the brand new one. And that old apartment, I'll just put it on the market and let's see what happens. So it took me about 6 months to talk to my mom and talk her into the move into the brand new place because she got used to that. Like I've been living there in 20 years. I don't want to move. It's beautiful. There's, I don't know, beautiful park next to it. I mean, you name it, right? And I think that was the paradigm shift and mentality shift. I said, that's fine. I understand what you're saying. You got used to that, but there's nothing beyond that point. Like you got used to that, and maybe a couple of friends live there, right? I can talk to them. And I said, yeah, but I feel like we might get a different opportunity if we do something new. So it took me, like I said, about 6 months back and forth, and I was still remodeling that brand new place. And one day, I don't know what happened, but she said, yeah, okay, well, that's fine. Let's go. Let's do it. Right. And again, we moved them over, and I brought the team. So we put the, just some paint on the walls, right? And we put new tile, right? And some flooring, and then we put it on the market. And there was two guys, like very young guys, who's working at companies, and they split the payment on half, right? So they team up together to pay for that apartment. And then that was the first time ever I was like, oh, you know what? I just put a little bit of money right up front, and then I put a little bit of work up front, but I'm receiving the payments every single month. And that just struck me. I was like, okay, I can get the average salary, right, per month, just renting the space to people. And I was like, oh my goodness, nobody told me it's in existence, right? I was like, wow, it's like a life hack.
Yeah.
So, but this is how I would say this is how I swallowed the first peel, right, of my real estate investment, right? But then, as we moved to the United States, it wasn't the real estate immediately. It was like business development and growth. I wasn't in the mindset, okay, how to become a better business owner. And, we managed about, 30 plus employees, right? How to become a better leader for people, right? How to lead the people into the goals and stuff like that. That was, because being a professional athlete, you lead yourself, right? And your team through the teamwork, right? But now you becoming a leader of the company, right? Everybody looking up to you, and then they look at your decisions, right? They look at your lifestyle, what you say every time. So basically they live up to your expectations. You got to be like a role model. So, and it took me about maybe 5 years to develop myself into the business development, right? And how to structure the teams, how to build the org chart for a company, right? And again, with that learning experience, the income started to come in. So, and that's how I moved back to real estate, because again, I was looking through different options where to put my money to work. Because my first thing was, okay, you work with your body, right, as a professional athlete. My second was you work with your mind and your body as an entrepreneur, because you got to push. It's pretty tough, right? Because you got to wake up early, right? You got to prepare for meetings. You got to do with your hands sometimes. It's always a balance between the two. And then the mental shift came when you become the investor, right? Because you're not doing with your hands as much, right? Now it's like a mental work, and then it's a lot of times to put an effort of sitting down in a quiet place and thinking through what you're actually going to do. And the impact comes with you taking the risk, because now you're like taking the whole risk on yourself. I mean, it's through the money, but anyway, so who's going to risk all of it? It's going to be private equity piece, right? All of those people come together to basically bet on that project and to trust that project. So therefore, they just they take in all of that, they absorb in all of that risk, right, for the project, because they're going to be the last ones on on the capital stack. So what I'm saying is, from entrepreneurship, it led me into the investment world, because again, I was not feeling comfortable when money sitting on accounts. So I was like, man, there's got to be better use. Number one, for yourself, that's fine, selfish thought. Number two, you got to bring the value to other people, right? Because I always think through the money as a tool. It's a very powerful tool, right? And the best use of that tool is to bring more value into the community. Mm-hmm. So, and the real estate is I think it's a very impactful business. Why? Because it's very scalable, right? There's trillions of dollars. So you could be as small as like, I don't know, a couple $1 million portfolio, or you could be as big as like a couple $1 billion portfolio, right? It's all up to you. It's all up to your mind and, and the scale. And whatever you want to do in your life. That's one. And the second one is, I think I was thrilled by, I was listening Bigger Pockets a lot in 2015, 16, I would say. I don't know if you ever heard of that platform. Right. So, and I would say a lot of listeners probably do. And then they were always saying there's so many outlets in real estate. Like you can be like a landlord, you could be a realtor, right? You could be, I don't know, appraisal. So there's so many pieces you can do, and and if you don't want to do them, there's so many pieces you can delegate to other people. So basically, that passive investing, right, giving you a chance to delegate to the people who understand what they're doing, to professionals, right, to delegate all of those pieces, and for you to just basically put the money in there, right, and then look that grow, right, and look that grow the professional manner, because every single piece responsible, right, I mean, for every single piece responsible, that professional person who is doing that like 24/7. So, for example, on the property management side, right? So if you buy the single pieces yourself, like condo, so and you leverage it through the bank as well, right? So there's such a small margin for you, especially in California where I live. There's such a small margin for you to profit out of it.
Right.
And the second somebody moved out from your unit, so you wipe out about 2 years, right, of your profits. Why? Because it's heavy leveraged, right? And then you cannot afford, right? Because of that number, right? Whatever, it's just pretty small. Because of that number, right? You cannot afford that professional property management company. Whether when you go into the bigger, larger scale deals, there's a professional company managing that building, right? 24/7.
Right.
So, yeah. So this is just a little bit about me going into the real estate. And this is how I shift my mind into like a larger, bigger, not owning 100%. Because again, back in Russia, so there's no leverage. It's all cash, right? You buying the pieces cash, right? I was buying like a cash money. So, and my thinking was, I want to save first. Like I want to save it because it's not accessible as much. That's actually another piece was for me, right? Because I can't sell it immediately. I can't emotionally sell the piece. You can log into your stock account, click sell, and it's gone. And then 2 days after, it's 100% growth, right? It just blow up. Right. And that's what usually happens because it's emotional. So with the real estate, it's very steady, right? Which is plus and minus. Plus for me was I cannot access that easily and emotionally sell that. Oh, I want to buy a new car. Let me sell this and I'll buy the car. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You got to hire a realtor, talk to them, put it on the market, maybe fix a little bit, right? And by the time you've done it, oh, you know what? I don't want it though. That's fine. So I can drive my old car, right, for the next 5 years. So that was my game as well. So because I was like setting the money aside, putting the money aside, growing my knowledge base, right, where to put them to the better use. That was another kind of piece why I went into the real estate. Because you talk to investors sometimes and they're saying, oh, you got to lock up your money for 5 years. I said, yes, there's bad side of it, which is you cannot access that, right? If you want to, let's say, do something with that. But there's a really good side of it, right? That means they're going to grow by 2, right? I mean, again, approximately by 2 times in 5 years. So, which is amazing. Why? Because, you cannot emotionally touch it and destroy that nest, which is growing, just keeps growing and growing, right?
I think you share some very great points and value with the way your thought process is on how you educated yourself and jumped into real estate, because I think that's the biggest part is education first. Got to educate yourself in order to learn your skill and what you want to do in the real estate business, and also educating your investors. What type of investor you want to be? You want to be passive or you want to be active? Those passive investors is for, like, if you don't have the time to want to deal with, if you don't want to be a realtor, you don't want to be the manager yourself, that's where you become that passive investor. If you have that capital, we take the capital and we invest in properties for you. We do the work for you. All you do is sit back, collect a check every month, every quarter, every year, etc. That's just the way the capital raising side of things are going, and how a private fund can be set up for you if you're interested in getting into a private fund type of investment opportunity. Let's go ahead and shift to obstacles. Like I want you to share some type of strategy or share a story where you had to overcome a certain obstacle in your career, and just share that strategy, or share the story, and then share the strategies that you utilized to overcome that.
Yeah. So, because we talk about the fun stuff as of right now, right? So, but then, as one of the powerful stories was as well, when we moved from Russia to United States. It was California, and my wife brother was drafted by Clippers back then in 2005, and it was fun and amazing. It's like winning the Powerball probably. So he got his first contract. It was $1.7 million, and then he got cut in year 2, I think, or maybe a year and a half into the contract, and I didn't understand back then the difference between asset and liabilities. And we lived in a beautiful house, driving like great cars, and by the beach. And all of a sudden, in one day, so as the income dry out, right? So we start to accumulate liabilities, right? So meaning the credit cards start to tap into, right? Because we didn't have income coming in, right? And we just moved in, me and my wife and my wife's parents. So we started to kind of manage the cash flow. And back then it was all new for me. Why? Because I never had such a liability, like such as overextended liabilities in my life, right? And I didn't really understand. So what's going on? Like, what happened? So why there's no more money? Like, and that made me dig into the financial world. So I even go to accounting education, right, in the local Santa Monica College for a couple of years in the business degree, right? But I started to really go into the I started to read Rich Dad Poor Dad book, right, and the Cash Flow Quadrant book of Robert Kiyosaki, and puzzle of the pieces, like pieces of the puzzle, start to connect together. I was like, okay, we got so much liabilities, but there's no asset which is covering liabilities, and we got to shift our life different way. So one of the biggest challenges was we had maybe about a couple $100,000 in the credit card debt, and every single bank will start to call you on the Monday morning, and then so you see on the ID of the phone it says Citibank calling, right, or maybe Union Bank calling, and I was barely speaking English. I just landed right a couple months ago, and barely speak English, right, and then it's all handed to me. It's like, okay, you're going to be the one who is going to be settling all of those debts and, all the financial problems. And one day, when it's kind of all uncovered, because I didn't know what happening. So it wasn't my, financial, I would say, it wasn't my financial responsibility to do that back then. So, and then it one day just all handed to me, and I was like absolutely scared to the death, right? Because I owned so much money and we got so much liabilities. And like a mortgage payment was maybe $9,000 or like $8,000 per month. So we got the credit card payments, maybe, I don't know, you name it, on 200,000, maybe like probably 6,000 as well per month. Anyways, all of it started to mount. It's mounting on me. Like it was a day or a couple of days I couldn't sleep at all. Right, I couldn't sleep. I don't understand what to do. So, and it took me a little bit to really come back on the feet, right? And then stand up and come up with a plan, start to do my research online. And then as I more dig into that research, I said, okay, listen, it's not the end of the world, right? I was judging myself by my previous experience. When you own money there, right, in my home country, right, it's not a joke, right? People will come to you and they just take you, right? And you're gone, right? So, but then in the US, it's a little different. It's all on legal kind of boundaries. And then, yes, you maybe mismanage some of the financials, but they always giving you the second chance. That's fine. So we can restructure. We can just always talk. We can pay down the debts and stuff like that. So that was a big challenge for me, a big financial a leap, I would say, because once I once I settle all of the debts and once we just figure out how to just tackle all of those financial problems, I felt myself like unstoppable because I felt myself, I've been there. It's like, it's not the end of the world. Believe me, like it's fine. So, and then basically once I just experienced that, I said, listen, I can take all risk possible, right? It's all fine. You're not going to die. So basically I was living that experience. I was living through that experience, and it gave me that relentless on my future endeavors. Like I was taking a lot more risk, right? I was taking, and again, I wasn't say it's riskier risk. It was like more calculated risk, right? And I understood how the debt structure works, right? I understood how the mortgage works, right? And it's basically allowed me to really, I would say, probably double my net worth within the next 5 years, right? Because of that, because I felt that relief. Now I can just do as much, right? So
Right.
yeah, that was my powerful lesson.
Yeah, taking calculated risk to ensure that you and your family was taken care of in the near future. And that's what got you out of that hole of the mounting debt, the mortgage payments every month. You took those calculated risks to ensure, like in life, you just have to take some risk. But I like what you said and taking that calculated risk, because there's a difference there. You're not just taking you're not just jumping into any type of opportunity. You're just making sure that the risk outweigh the cost. And I like that story and how you overcame that. Congratulations to that. I'll say for sure, because a lot of people would have given up at that point.
Oh, it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it was tough to overcome that, but incredible story and how you are a successful entrepreneur now, and seeing where you're at now is just incredible to look back and just know that you overcame a lot, being a international real estate investor, and then being a professional, then coming here, going down to your lows, to the debt, to the credit, the banks calling you every week. I know it was tough. So incredible to have you here today for sure. I would love to go on, but I know we're short on time. Do you have any other final thoughts to give to the audience, and then we'll get into how people can connect with you?
Yeah. So I would say final thought. I'll probably give you a quote, right? Which is, I'm living and breathing every day. So we become what we think about. I think it's very, very powerful thought. And every morning I wake up. So, and I double check my brain against that, quote. So what are you actually thinking about? Is it positive? Are you thinking about future developments, or are you thinking about like regrets, complaints, and stuff like that? So I think it's very, very powerful to do every morning. And then how people can reach out to me, right? It's always, so we got the ebook, right, which is, helping you to understand the syndication world and become a champion in syndication world. And it's a winrealestategame.com. Again, it's a winrealestategame.com. And then they can go and just visit our website, avistafund.com. And my email, it's igor@avistafund.com. They can reach out all the time and I'll respond immediately.
Awesome. We'll make sure to put that in the show notes. And Igor, it's been incredible. I've definitely enjoyed this. I'm sure the audience members will enjoy this. And you sharing your story with us today, it's been quite a learning experience from you too. I think we could have talked even longer, but I know we're just short on time. You only have so much time in a day. But again, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Arseny. Yes, and then I wish all the best luck, right, for the investors and entrepreneurs out there. You guys stay positive.
All right, same to you.